I'm Drew Hampton. I'm one of the assistant professors of theater arts here at Ouachita Baptist University. I am the teacher of most of the acting classes here at Ouachita. That includes, there's Acting 1, which is a voice and movement course. I have taught Acting 2 in the past, probably will in the future. Acting 3, which is a period styles class where we will deal with, largely with Shakespeare, but also with other classical works. And then Acting 4, which is an advanced scene study class. I teach auditioning as well. I teach dramatic theory and play development. Usually I refer to that as our playwriting course. It's sort of an introductory. It is an introduction to playwriting where students will talk about general playwriting technique. There's a lot of exploratory writing that may come from maybe reading newspaper articles. It may come from sound. It may come from maybe taking the plot of a defined story already and then moving around different elements of it. And the class culminates in students such as Maddie Alexander writing a 10-minute play from that class. And it will actually be, I wouldn't say produced, but it will get a staged reading at the end of the course. And it may actually get produced as part of the 10-minute play festival at Ouachita. In terms of student growth, I would say more than anything, I think about my Acting 1 class. It's a voice and movement course, but voice and movement is not only is it not the only thing being taught in that class, it's probably not the most important thing being taught in that class. Because it is mostly a freshman-based course, a lot of it has to do with how do you respond to criticism? How do I manage time? How do I collaborate with a room full of people who also think they have the best ideas about how to achieve a certain result in something? So I can bring my ideas in, but how do I work those not against other people's ideas, but how do I work them with other ideas that may be in conflict, and how do we work that out? And I think that sort of collaboration and project management is probably another good word for it. That's something that really all of our theater classes provide. So for prospective students, two things come to mind. You're going to have several people giving you advice about what they think you should do. And maybe some of those people are people like parents who are maybe paying for your education and you need to take their advice. Maybe you have to take their advice. And whatever the situation is, I would suggest take in as much information, take in as many perspectives as you can. But at some point, take the time to be by yourself and ask yourself, what do you want? What do you need? What would be your best case scenario of, this is the kind of school I would like to go to. This is what I'd like to experience 5 years after graduating. This is where I'd like to be. Because I think a lot of times incoming students miss that step of, if nobody else had anything to say and I could make the decision myself, what would I want to do? Considering those things that you want and the things that are most important to you, that's not to say that those are the only things that you should value, but make sure that your voice is part of that conversation. And again, for me, it's all about balance. That's the word that I think of honestly in every class I teach and every relationship I have. The word balance comes into my mind all the time. You want outside influence, you want people to give you their opinion, and that needs to be balanced with you being honest with yourself and not making decisions solely based on what other people want you to do, but on the things that are going to be not just appealing to you, but the things that are going to propel you on a path that gets you the things that you want. In terms of getting not just a theater education, but an education in general, let's be real. I work at Ouachita, so don't feel like I have to say this. I'm choosing to say this. This is a pretty special place in terms of the way teachers invest in students. And trying to not necessarily speak about myself, I think about so many other teachers who I've literally watched. They've gone through a long day, maybe 8 in the morning to 6 at night, and they're well past the hours they're supposed to work. But I've never seen a teacher hesitant to say, well, you know what, this student at this particular time needs me for this, and they'll stop what they're doing they'll stop their outside life. It's just understanding that students' lives don't happen from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's stuff that happens all around there, and I've never come across a faculty member here who isn't supremely invested in students outside of the classroom. Another thing in terms of scouting out potential schools that you might go to, there is not enough information for any school that exists online that captures what it's like to be somewhere, to walk across the campus, to shake hands with faculty members and staff, and to maybe sit in on a class if you can, get a sense of what it's going to be like to actually be a student, have conversations with students that are on campus, and encourage them, be as honest as possible. And I think you'll find that an overwhelming majority of the people here at Ouachita are not because they feel like they have to, but because they have good things to say, that they're going to give you a lot of reasons to want to come here. So, hopefully you pick a day where it's gorgeous outside like it is today, and you can enjoy what it would feel like to spend the next 4 or so years of your life here.